Alright, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 8th episode of The Trainer's Lounge, the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. And today's episode is all about quality management. And now, it's kind of not weird, pero parang isa siyang aspect ng L&D na hindi masyadong napapansin or rather not talked about since it is kind of different from what L&D is as a whole. Pero today's episode will show us and let us know paano nga ba nagiging intertwined, the goals of L&D and quality management. Ayan. So before we go on to our show and introduce our guest, don't forget to like, share, follow our pages and also this video. You can go to CLDP Philippines. Like and follow nyo po yung page namin doon. Also at Circle Logica Group. And if you missed our previous episodes here in the Trainer's Lounge, pwede nyo po sila mapanood sa aming YouTube channel. Just search our YouTube channel, Circa Logica Group. And you will also find our videos there na hindi lang Trainer's Lounge, but other facets of HR learnings as well. Ayan. So, for today's episode, we have a guest who's been working in quality management for some time and as an L&D manager as well. So, kilalanin muna natin siya. Okay, so our guest for today is Mr. Gilberto Dula, and he was the previous senior manager for quality and learning and development in Ducetani, Manila since December 2018 up until recently. Ayan. So he led the company's transition to fully online training through the use of a learning management system. Ayan. So lahat tayo medyo familiar what an LMS is all about sa mga L&D experts dyan. And also, Dusit International Master Trainer for the Philippines for core courses on leadership and quality service. Some of the awards that he has achieved over the past few years. He was a nominee for managerial category from Mabuhay Awards 2019. Also, the Manager of the Year from Ducetani, Manila 2017. Manager of the Quarter from Ducetani, Manila, Quarter 1 2017. And Employee of the Month from Ducetani, Manila, November 2013. He graduated with a Master's of Distance Education, or rather enrolled since October 2020 to present. He's also learning sciences course, and he got his Bachelor of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management at San Sebastian College, Recoletos, Manila. And so some association that he belongs to, Academe Industry Committee, Vice Chairman from since January 2021 up until the present. Future Leaders Program, he's a mentee there from May 2020 up until the present. And the Philippine Society for Talent Development as a member since June 2020 up until the present. So without further ado, Mr. Gilberto Dula, CLDP. Yan. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Alright. Ay, wait lang. Parang may sa setup natin. Wait lang, sir. Okay. Ayun. Apologies.
Alright.
Nagkaroon ng technical issues.
That's okay, Kevin. Kasi
Alright, good
usually
afternoon.
pag live stream, medyo may challenge talaga.
naman.
Good afternoon to everyone streaming us and good afternoon to you, Kevin.
Ayun. Kamusta naman po, sir? How are you doing there?
I'm staying at home because it's really safe to stay at home. And even though I'm fully vaccinated, I would rather stay at home because you'll never know, diba? I hope you're safe too, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, in our place naman, or in our province rather, medyo mataas din ang cases pero it's still, parang iwas-iwas talaga pa rin kahit na marami na ang vaccination rollouts dito sa amin.
Yes.
Yan. Mahirap din kasi not because you were vaccinated it means you're immune to the to the COVID. Kaya sa mga followers po natin yan, sa mga viewers, don't forget to get vaccinated and make sure to follow protocols.
Yeah.
Anyways, sir, I hope you're doing fine this afternoon kasi medyo marami-rami tayong topics na pag-uusapan regarding quality management.
Dami mo ang questions sa akin eh.
Well,
I'm ready for you.
Pero yung questions na to is for our audience naman. For them to understand,
Okay.
quality management. Pero yun, sige, let's touch base muna with QM itself. So for L&D kasi it's not common to tackle quality management din, no?
Mm,
Most of the
mm,
time we think about teaching, learning how to improve process. Pero at the same time,
yes.
quality management is there. Hindi lang natin siya masyadong nakikita talaga, or rather we think of it as something else. So when we say quality management, what do we mean by that?
Quality management is really a separate discipline from the learning and development.
Mhm.
But you would often see that now it is entwined. Pero pag-usapan natin yan mamaya.
Sige, sige.
Quality management, maraming mga definitions yan. It came from the principle of Kaizen. But what I'm really immersed with is the ISO certification, the ISO 9001:2015, the Quality Management System. So
Ah.
talks about mostly documentation, compliance, and what is put in paper, if it is being practiced, ito ba ay nasasaad din sa papers? Yung mga ganong klase ng bagay na it has to be documented, and at the
Mhm.
same time, it has to be communicated to all the stakeholders. So yan ang quality management system that I have been immersed with.
Things are going great, things are going, or not, if not great, improving. Ika nga. And
Yes,
you mentioned
yes.
quality management system. Ano naman yun?
Quality management system, if you've been hearing about a company's quality objectives,
Mhm.
yan ang pinaka-framework niyan, yan ang pinaka-backbone niya, the quality management system. Take for example, if in a hotel, this is the way we cook a pasta, and these are the recipes. Is it documented na ito yung mga kailangang ingredients for that recipe? And is it how it is being cooked? Ito ba yung paraan ng pagkukook natin? So, do people know how to cook this kind of pasta? So, doon nag-interplay yung ating quality management system. Number one, there
Ah.
should be a clear evidence of documentation.
Aha.
Number two, it is communicated to all the interested parties. Alam nga ng manager, hindi naman alam ng staff. Wala rin, it defeats the purpose. Kaya it's really a two-way thing. It's a system permeated or situated within an organization.
I see. Now, when we say documentation ng process, kailangan talaga clear siya from step 1 to step 5. O ano,
Yes.
parang ngayon ko lang din nga na-realize, if ever, well, for example nga naman yung hotel, yung nga bang pasta, dinodocument pa or kukuha lang tayo ng chef na marunong magluto nito, di ba? Parang ganun. So, in
Yes.
quality
Mm.
management system, everything is documented to make sure that things are being followed or objectives
Yeah.
are being followed.
You
Ayun.
got it right,
Wow,
Kevin.
ayun. So, well, in a way, I thought it was similar to LMS or learning
Mm.
management system. In a
Mm.
way siguro. But rather focusing heavily on documentation nga siya.
Yes.
Okay. Next, well, how related naman ngayon ang quality management system with learning and development? Punta tayo dun sa aspect na paano sila nagkakapareho or ano yung mga aspects na kailangan mong i-consider for both?
Mhm. Quality management system, it habitates in a quality culture.
Mhm.
The usual drivers of culture are the people from the human capital or the human resources management. So, ang learning and development comes into play because they are the ones who lobby and champion this quality policies, 'di ba? Sila ang nagro-roll out niyan. So, that's when training
Ano?
comes in.
Babaan ko
You
o bakasan ko?
capacitate people, you equip people, and at the same time, you help all people involved in the system to have the competencies, to have the skills to comply with the quality management system.
Ayun, I see. Well, is it a new trend ba? Is it something na bago lang sa L&D industry as a whole? Or has this been happening before, hindi lang natin or hindi lang siya nako-communicate talaga?
I think now, Kevin, there is more appreciation and they see how important it is that there is a point person for quality management, not just for learning and development. You would see this as a trend. You would, when you browse in LinkedIn, marami dyan, quality and training manager.
Oo,
Di ba
oo. Magkadikit
magkatugtog
na nga
yung mga
sila.
titles na yan? Because the processes, although they are separate, although they have separate identities, they are totally connected. Take for example, if let go back tayo dun sa pasta. Ha.
Mhm.
So this
Sige.
is how a certain hotel creates a pasta. Okay? Now, in terms of branding, in terms of quality, yan, may mga kanya-kanya kasi yung specialties kung ating tawagin, di ba? Now, training comes in because you have people working, you have colleagues who are coming in, come and go, di ba? But how do you inculcate the way of cooking pasta sa kanila? You train, di ba? So that's how it complements. There is a documentation. L&D also complements by communicating and training it to the colleagues. Kaya importante yan. Kaya for most companies, usually pinag-combine na nila yan. So in my previous organization, it was really combined because they see the benefit. Kasi nakikita mo on a macro perspective na, okay, ito pala yung system. And then the learning and development manager sees it on a micro perspective na these are the interventions that is needed. Okay, ito pala, kulang siya ng hindi niya alam kung paano pipiliin yung pasta, for example, or hindi niya alam kung ilang degrees Celsius ba dapat bago maging al dente ang isang pasta. Things like that, the specifications, kumbaga.
Alright, I see. So parang si L&D ang nagiging channel to communicate what quality management needs or wants to happen. I see. Now, well, yeah, recently it's been a trend, especially if you look for professionals. Yun nga sa LinkedIn, makikita mo na, quality management tapos training. Paano yun? Things like that. But siguro, before we talk about the person itself, yung industry muna. Before ba, are these two industries separate talaga? Like, is quality management separate from learning and development talaga dati?
I don't think so. I think in terms of specification, ngayon lang talaga mas na-heighten na, talagang connected pala sila. Because it usually, in terms of quality management system, the push and the commitment really comes from the top management.
Sila yung magdidictate.
Yes, the senior executives, because the company's objectives, the company's key performance indicators, silang nag-a-assess yan di ba? Sila, sa kanila dapat manggaling and it should be clear with them. Ngayon, nakikita lang nila yung connection with the learning and development, how key and how pivotal yung role ni learning and development is. I'm not pretty sure if it's a new trend, but from what I know, although they are separate disciplines, they are intertwined and they complement each other.
Ayun. So let's put that on paper. They are separate in terms of kanilang parang goals, pero to both reach their goals, they have to work together. Parang ganun siya.
Yes.
I see. Alright, well, nung start nung career nyo ba, or when you got into L&D, was this already happening or did it just adjust through the times and nakita mo yung transition?
I can only speak, Kevin, for my industry, coming from the hospitality industry. So, in terms of hospitality, quality management is already a thing. Diba? Yung mga mystery shopper, I'm not sure if you've heard yung mga ganong klase ng concept.
Oh, yeah.
Mystery caller.
Parang spy.
Yes. That's used to gauge if the colleagues are actually complying with the set rules and standards. So that's quality management system. Now, what I think they do is they try to marry these roles, quality management system, and then training or learning and development, because there was a notion that most of the interventions or the solutions are provided by training.
I see. Alright.
Notion yun ha.
Notion muna. Hindi siya pina-follow.
I don't support. I don't support that. Kasi I would always remember my boss. She would tell me, training is never the panacea for operational breakdowns. Hindi siya sagot sa lahat ng problema ng isang company or ng isang organization. At a certain extent, it helps and it addresses certain problems, but not everything. Pero majority, syempre, talagang ma-answer or masosolusyonan ng learning and development.
Yeah, I remember our talk with Mr. Jeff Garcia back then. Sabi nga niya, like L&D are treated as parang problem solvers.
Yeah.
Nakakala nila
Mm.
magpapatraining ka, tapos na problema mo in the company. Well, no, there are a lot of
Yes.
factors to look into and quality management is one of them, no? Kasi, paano mo nga
Yes.
naman malalaman if they're being followed if hindi naman nila na-meet yung objective? Nagpa-training ka
Yes.
nga, yeah, you did your training, you communicated the qualities, but if walang mag-check, if walang magfo-follow through, well, wala din siya. Ayun. Alright,
Yeah.
I see. So, kasi sa akin, to be honestly, it is a new idea na rin sa whole na
Mm.
pati yung quality management, ikaw na ang mag-aasika or you will look into it as an L&D. Pero,
Yeah.
we've talked about the similarities. How about the differences naman? Like,
Mm.
as a parang specialization, what are the differences between quality management and learning and development?
Mm. Quality management system, ito ay absolutes.
Absolutes.
These are set standards that you need to implement. For example, if an organization has certain objectives, it has to be followed. Learning and development, on the other hand, it capacitates people. Okay? It fosters growth. Di ba dati training ang title niyan? Ngayon, naging learning and develop na.
Oo.
Why? Because it really fosters more inclusivity, and at the same time, you want your colleagues to succeed. Kasi may kanya-kanya tayong speed eh. May kanya-kanya tayong progress uh, for the most part. So, in terms of the differences, I would say in my experience, the quality management system, these are sets of absolutes that has to be complied with. Okay? So kung ito ang set standards, you will comply because if not, it will break the system. Learning and development, on the other hand, it helps people, it enables people, and it capacitates people to ensure na a certain objective will be met. Diba? So, somehow, um, goal si quality management system. But transferring or transporting from point A to point B until point Z, that's where learning and development comes in. Because again, I'd like to echo again the word capacity. It enables people to move.
I see. Alright. Um, siguro metaphor nga is QMS is the brains and then L&D is the arms probably or the body.
The arms,
The
the
arms or
heart,
the heart.
yan, di ba?
Ayun.
Maraming pwedeng gamitin na senses dyan
Oo,
eh. But
pero yun
all in
nga.
all, it's part of one body. Di
Oo,
ba?
I see. And well, coming from your experience or in your career path from before, I think medyo obvious na ang sagot. Pero, can an L&D professional do both?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think they can do both disciplines, but in terms of an organization, you
Mm-hmm.
have to evaluate. Kasi my previous organization then, in terms of headcount, we did not exceed naman 500. Okay? So it was somewhat manageable on my end. But if you talk about larger scale companies or organization, that's a different thing. Because these are two essential, these are two important departments that has to be manned by people. Diba? Just so happened that in my industry, and in my organization then, yun nga, the headcount was a little bit manageable. Kaya pa. You can do audits, and then at the same time, you can conduct trainings, learning sessions, to complement and to support the staff.
Siguro there is a certain number din, no, na kailangan nating tignan.
Yes.
If you were to do it both as an L&D professional. Kasi,
Yes.
yeah, usually companies will, well, the structure of their workforce, kawawa naman ang L&D mo kung sobrang dami ng tao. If you have a lot of
Mm.
employees or workforce, then only have a few number of people in the L&D department or in the QMS department, may hirapan nga naman sila. Pero yeah,
Yes.
in hindsight, kaya.
Mm. Yes,
It
kaya.
just depends.
Kaya,
Kaya.
kaya.
Kaya. And, well, in your experience, what are the things, siguro pag-usapan natin yung pros and cons,
Mm.
no? Like, for example, as a person who has done this, both as a L&D and as a QMS manager, what are the pros na muna? Sige. Pros na muna.
Mm. Pros in terms of
Ay, sorry. In terms of your task, no, parang may mga
mm.
madali bang gawin, may okay ba sa'yo na or easy lang na gawin since L&D professional ka naman?
Mhm. Siguro, Kevin, to place it at the right context,
Mhm.
one of the essential uh, things that made it easy for me para maging
Mm.
pros, kasi baka sabihin naman nila it's quite subjective. I have had an understanding. I was immersed in the hotel operations.
Mm.
So, in terms of quality management system, you know the ins and outs. You know the organization. You know how it's being done. So it's easy to audit. It's easy to train people because you have done it yourself, rather than there is just a theoretical understanding of certain concepts. That's why I can juggle yung quality management system and learning and development. So in terms of pros, siguro, if there is an understanding, there is somewhat a mastery of the operations or the subject matter expertise, it will be easy for you to to navigate between the two roles. Yeah.
Ayan. How about sa perspective ng company? Like,
Mm.
what are the pros of having an L&D professional manage the quality as well?
The connectivity of the initiatives, it's usually it's like a puzzle na binubuo mo. It's just connected. You can never separate these two disciplines because it again complements the other. So if kung maglalatag ka, 'di ba tayo, 'di ba, as trainers, we conduct our training needs analysis, or in the byproduct of it is the total training plan for the year. Okay, you can easily inject the quality initiatives there because you'll see, ano ba ang na-answer nito? Is this a quality initiative that needs to be addressed, or is this a training initiative na kailangan mong ibigay sa coding? So I think yung connectedness ng tasks, it helps. It makes it easy for both learning and development professional and the quality manager. Mas madali, mas may synergy. I think that's a perfect word. There's a synergy in terms of tasks.
Ayan. Ngayon, well, let's go to the other side of the coin naman. If you're an L&D professional handling the quality management system, what are the cons?
Number one, I think there should really be a commitment in terms of integrity.
I see.
Your auditing processes, di ba, pag sa LND, you want your trainees to succeed. You want your trainees to learn. But in terms of quality management system, I would use again my term, absolutes. So if it's not there, it's kind of hard to justify it. So you have to have integrity na meron ba o wala? Na-qualify ba o hindi? Na-comply ba o hindi? And I think it speaks for all positions, for all kinds of jobs present. There should be a heightened level of integrity. And then I think in terms of integrity, there should always be an attention to detail. You cannot miss out. It's hard to miss once. And if there's no conformance, what are the opportunities for improvement? What do you do in the long run to address this and to prevent this from happening? So that's how complicated, that's how elaborate the quality management system is. But again, it really feeds on learning and development kasi it helps it. They both help each other.
Eto naman, siguro, surface level na tanong lang. Pagod ba? Pagod ba kapag L&D ka and you're also doing quality management?
Yes. I cannot sugarcoat it, Kevin. Pagod. Kasi lalo if you are, these are again two essential
Oo nga
departments.
eh, kasi
Two
parang dalawa yung
essential.
ginajuggle mo.
Oo, so nakakapagod yan. But again, you would go back to the organization, diba? How well immersed are you in the organization? The previous organization that I've worked with, 8 years naman ako doon. Kaya nakita ko yung turnaround, the leadership changes. So, di ba ikaw
Di ba?
pag nagtitrain tayo, di ba? If they get the point, if they get the learning, you are happy. Eh, ganun din. Parang doble din yung joy mo that they learn and at the same time they are
They do
complying
it,
with it.
yeah.
So, doble ang satisfaction.
I see. How about naman through the eyes of the company? Will there be any cons if they assign those two tasks to a single L&D professional?
Um, hirap naman ang tanong mo, Kevin. Pero
Ba-
siguro, it takes a certain level of maturity
Siguro
to the
kailangan
person
ng
you are, to the
magandang
person you are.
filtering ng professional na papasok.
Yes,
You have
yes.
to make
Because
sure.
alam mo sa quality management system, it's very much like you are presenting a total training plan na, base sa training needs analysis, ito yung mga kailangan ng mga iba't ibang departments, iba't ibang units. Sa quality management system, you are like a devil's advocate na, ito yung mga non-compliance ninyo, ito yung mga hindi ninyo nagagawa, at ito po yung mga kailangan ninyong i-address. It's hard if you are not really committed. It's hard if there is somehow the maturity is not yet there, because you're dealing with top management, you're dealing with executives, you're dealing with senior leaders, for that matter. And it's not an easy task. You cannot learn that overnight. Hindi lang siya basta, favor that is upon you, but it really takes time and a level of maturity.
So, rather than being it a con na meron kang LNDS quality, but ang isa sa mga mahirap sa kanya through the company's perspective is finding the right person.
Yes, a people factor, di ba? Magaling siya makipagkapwa-tao. Then there's a critical thinking. Iba mag-analyze, iba siya tumingin ng processes. But if you have these sets of factors, it will be easy for the company.
Ayun. Well, in the process itself naman of quality management, coming from the perspective of an L&D, what aspects naman ang kailangan nating to consider first talaga as an L&D? Like, if gagawin ko to, what aspects should I check first?
This is true for not just for learning and development, but for every organization. Objectives.
I see. Objectives talaga.
What do you want to do? What do you want to happen? I think that transcends disciplines, industries, because if you don't have objectives, you're good for nothing. Diba? So same is true with learning and development. If you don't have a goal and it's not aligned with quality objectives of the company, my boss would say it's balala. It's nothing. It's a term he uses.
I see. Wow. Well, bukod dun sa pag-check ng objectives, no, you also have, I think you also need to have a keen eye into looking the details and predicting Kasi you have to also future-proof things that are happening.
Yes.
I remember one of the topics that we had with Sir D, lean thinking, no, ika nga. I think it's also a part of quality management kasi if you had a difficult time achieving this quality, di ba, paano mo siya may iwasan in the future? So, dun din siguro pumapasok yung pagiging L&D mo na, eto, alam kong mangyayari na to in the future.
It's something that you process, but when you're able to harvest and process it, it does wonders. Makes you rich, for that matter. Diba? Data, I think when you said yung thinking, there is an anticipation, data provides you with a pattern. It provides you with a trend. Okay, sa customer satisfaction, kung if we are running with this rate, this is how we will end. Diba? So it's an informed decision. It's an informed analysis. So quality managers and learning and development managers must be able to harness data analysis or data analytics. Dapat magaling din sila dyan. Kasi for an industry like ours, the voice of customers is very important. Kung wala ang boses ng customers, the business, the organization will cease to exist. Kaya data, processing, analysis, and data presentation.
Ayun. Now, those things nga naman is, common, but rather, yun nga, hindi masyado naiisip din. Kasi, we do training as it is, kung anong nalalaman natin. And, going to this next question, siguro, is another aspect of what changed in our industry. Yung pagiging online natin. Yung pagiging remote setup natin. How did you transition into having an actual workforce in the company itself, and then biglang boom, quarantine, work from home, or you cannot mingle with a lot of people. How did you continue, or how did you adjust your process as an L&D doing quality management?
Mhm. Kevin, my previous organization did not stop operating on site. We, from the hotel that I used to work with, we are a quarantine hotel. Okay,
Ah,
so hindi kami, of course, work from home is not applicable to
oo
us,
nga naman sa
but
bagay, sorry.
paano lilinisin yung ano, di ba, yung
Mm,
kwarto. But it was reduced simply because skeletal workforce, or some would term it skeleton workforce, di ba? How were we able to hold the reins for learning and development of quality management system? Online was seen as a best friend of the position. Online modalities such as learning management system. Yan. Uh, Diyan natin inilatag lahat ng training, lahat ng mga coaching sessions, lahat ng mga anything, the compliance and protocols that we wanted to roll out to the colleagues, we took advantage online. Now, in terms of audits, in terms of quality management system, it's not really online kasi like for us in our industry, we were audited by Department of Tourism. These are on-site. These happen within the hotel premises. But we would still bank on the data being provided. We would feed through the customer complaints sent via email, yung mga numbers, di ba? It's actually just a matter of interpretation of the data. What data you have at hand. And you use that to, again, continuously improve the organization.
okay, I see. So, uh, I think din no yung LMS napakalaking tulong na rin siya nung parang nagkahiwa-hiwalay tayo na dati is
Yes.
you can see everyone, or when conducting your process back then it's easy, but when everything got placed back home, paano na? And yeah, LMS is a great tool for us to reach out na kahit na hindi na siya face-to-face teaching, hindi na siya face-to-face training, we still had a
Yes.
platform for us to do it. And quality management survived through that siguro then with other people, or sorry, with other companies that were forced to do a work or a remote setup.
Yes, definitely, Kevin. Kasi now, in terms of the customer satisfaction, mas tedious ngayon kasi malinis ba yan? Anong mga chemicals? Yung mga ganun yung mga tanong na ng mga customers na before, they were just happy with the experience. But now, since we were in the pandemic and they were aware of many things in terms of health and safety, mas naging bukas yung mga mata nila na, shucks, in terms of cleanliness, hindi lang pala siya dapat, wipe the table. You should be using chemicals because it really eliminates the germs, the virus, yada yada. So things like that. It was more laborious, if I could term it correctly, for service providers now kasi mas may understanding yung customers natin ngayon.
Mm-hmm. All right, I see. Now, balik tayo sa pagiging L&D professional conducting quality management. In your opinion, siguro hindi naman to parang rule, pero in your opinion, what are the skills or parang qualifications na hinahanap natin if you want an L&D person to handle quality management as well?
Hmm. Critical thinking is number one,
Critical
Kevin.
thinking. Mm-hmm.
Critical thinking because you will be immersed in different processes. May iba't ibang units kasi yan within an organization, and you have to carefully evaluate and study. But uh, you know the term root cause analysis, then yung mga fishbone diagram, yung mga you keep asking the whys. Critical thinking allows you in a snap, or at least at a glance, to understand saan nagkamali, saan yung shortfall, saan yung breakdown. And critical thinking not only provides the root cause, but at the same time, you are able to formulate the solutions in the possible solutions that could be given to this specific department or unit. So critical thinking talaga. If we don't have that, it's hard to just evaluate the processes. And you're just like doing it theoretically. Mahirap kapag ganun. So dapat critical thinker.
Mm.
And
Uh,
Kevin, sorry,
yes, yes.
critical thinker, but at the same time, you think as if you own the business. Ganyan.
Ah.
Ganyan yung laging sinasabi sa amin. If you are running this, you run it like it is your business.
Oo
So
nga
ngayon,
naman.
isi-streamline mo yung process talaga, di ba? Mas aayusin mo kasi you think of it as yours eh. Di ba?
Oo nga
Yeah.
naman, oo
So
nga
critical
naman.
thinking.
So critical thinking is number one. Well, once you have those qualifications naman, and you want to enter na, since let's say na L&D ka and you want to try your hand at doing quality management system, are there career opportunities? Like, how is it usually structured? Like, sa isang organization ba, meron bang iba't ibang tao na pwedeng, iba't ibang positions na pwedeng pasukin? Are there hierarchies and roles? Things like that.
Hmm. Kevin, ano lang, I'll provide a short background.
Sure, sure.
Kasi yung mga learning and development professionals, I think one of the new competencies na hinahanap na sa isang learning and development professional is yung how they tell stories, di ba? Kailangan daw pag L&D professional ka, good storyteller ka.
Oo nga naman.
Sa quality management kasi, quality management system, you tell stories. You present data most of the time. So, papakita mo dyan what happens to the company. So, when talking about roles, when talking about career opportunities, there are some similarities in terms of competencies that are present with learning and development professionals and quality managers. But you just have to adjust it at a certain level kasi syempre, it still depends upon your audience. Diba, ang trainer, you would always adjust your audience. Diba? Naintindihan ba nila? Masyado bang mga highfalutin ang ating mga jargons or not? Diba? So in terms of career opportunities, learning and development can easily transition to quality management. Okay? So meron dyan mga quality auditors. Quality auditors are very heavy in terms of training. Especially, for example, for global standardization, such as ISO.
Yeah, ISO.
May mga set, may mga set of rules yan that you just have to really master, and at the same time, not only master, but really connect it with the organization. Kapag ba sinabing top management, ano ba yan? Kapag ba sinabing management review, ano ba yan? Diba? So, quality auditors are one, quality manager of course is number two, because you promote and you champion quality. So yan ang mga yung ibang companies, they would term it as quality managers, but for some, quality lead, yan din yung mga tawag nila dyan. So yan yung mga pwede or possible opportunities that they can look into. But on a higher level and on a higher scale, ang mga naririnig kong successful in terms of quality management and learning and development, they are the heads of the operations.
Heads
Kasi sa
of
operations,
Oo nga naman.
di ba, critical thinking eh. Nagko-complain yung guest mo, kailangan masolusyonan mo na kaagad. Di ba?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's how fast and that's how agile the role is, kumbaga.
I see.
So,
All right.
Director of Operations and Director of Quality for some.
Ayun. Alright. So, thank you so much for, letting us know kung ano ba yung mga career opportunities if gusto nating pasukin yung quality management as an
Yes.
L&D. And I guess that's all of my questions. Pero before we end, any tips or any parting words to our viewers or sa mga aspiring L&D professionals na gustong pasukin ng quality management system?
I think, Kevin, in my experience, the quality management system or total quality management, ibang mga companies kanya naman nila tinatawag, in learning and development, these are crucial departments, di ba? Na you have to really champion, and at the same time, you have to be really excellent in. And times are tough, especially now that we are in the pandemic. We are all called to multitask. And to some extent, it's okay because I think for the most part, it contributes to lifelong learning. Noong naging immersed ako sa quality management system, I understand the business operations at different levels. So I think it enriched my management skills and my leadership skills because there is an understanding of the different levels. So what I'm really trying to say is that we welcome challenges. We welcome the variety of the roles that are being presented to us because one way or another, it will enrich you and your competencies as a person, part of the workforce. So let's welcome that. Kasi at the end of the day, di ba, you will just realize na there is a quality management system. I know learning and development. Opportunities will just come knocking at your door.
Oo nga naman.
You know,
Two for one
hindi
ka
ka
eh.
lang yes, hindi ka lang basta-basta. You can do both disciplines at the same time.
Oo nga naman. Alright, well, thank you so much for that words of wisdom para sa mga gustong pasukin ng QMS
Yeah.
na L&D
Yes.
professional. Alright,
Thank you.
punta naman tayo sa ating mga viewers. So we have one question here from Mr. Excel. Interesting question. Is there any prerequisite na kailangan or training, education that I should do to enter quality management?
I have enrolled in, wow, talaga ako, di ba? I have enrolled in a course, Total Quality Management. Okay.
Oh.
You can search local training providers, but it's a concept I think is being taught at universities, but at the same time, there are targeted training providers na nag-o-offer nito. And it will just present you the concepts from Japan, concepts from process improvement, parinig mo continual improvement, management commitment. So yan yung mga terms na ilalatag sa'yo. So I think you have to really try out a course on total quality management system. Kasi it's not just quality anymore, ha? It's total quality.
Total
Meaning,
quality na.
at all departments, at all levels, dapat assured ang quality. Kaya nag-iba eh, Kevin. Tsaka yung question, yung nagtanong sa atin, before it's just quality assurance. But now it changed to TQM or Total
Total
Quality
quality.
Management. Kasi nga at all levels, dapat assured and dapat complied with ang quality.
Is that a necessary prerequisite or an advisable prerequisite lang? Na
It's an advisable prerequisite.
So no
It
need naman
gives you,
talaga, parang hindi naman pipigilan.
oo,
Ah.
definitely. But I think for most of the quality trainings, nag-uumpisa lagi yan sa appreciation trainings. If I were to select an appreciation training, total quality management is the perfect starter.
I see. All right. Well, Excel, ayun. I hope you were able to catch that. And
I hope you
yeah.
will excel.
Oo nga naman. Sakto pa naman yung pangalan. Alright, well, that's all for our questions today, Sir Gilbert. Ito, thank you so much. Ang dami ko natutunan when it comes to quality
Maraming
management.
salamat.
No,
Yes.
it's a new aspect na parang interesting na, nga, no, as an L&D, pwede ko naman pwede ko na rin i-check myself if yung objectives ng company is being followed. And since
Yes.
I'm the one who will teach it, I'm the one who will facilitate it, why not learn it as well, di ba? Why not
Yes.
put it in my heart and in my mind as well? Alright, so,
Gusto ko yan may pa-heart and
no,
mind.
di ba, di ba? Pero syempre, pusuan ng trabaho. Pag hindi mo pinusuan
yes.
yan, lalo kang may hirapan.
Yes. It will be easier if it's coupled with passion.
Di
Diba?
ba? Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have, sir. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. I hope we can
Thank you,
still have
Kevin.
you in future episodes here at the Trainers Lounge.
Yes.
And
Most certainly.
anything that you would like to promote or anything you would like to share?
No, just get vaccinated for those who are
Ayun.
not yet vaccinated. Kasi
Ayun.
the variants are coming and it's always good to be protected. Diba? And if we are on ECQ, do not go out if it's not necessary because you never know. So stay safe. Yun lang ang aking masasabi, Kevin. And thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. And well, goodbye for now and see you next time, sir.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.
All right, and ayun no. Another hour of discussion and learning from different aspects of L&D. So, ako to be honest, it is a new thing for me. Siguro it also depends on what kind of industry you're in as of the moment as an L&D. But yeah, if there are processes involved, pero hindi lang naman yung processes din kasi like as Mr. Gilberto said earlier, all levels na ang tinitignan ngayon when it comes to quality management. So for those who watch today, or for those who are currently in the L&D industry and are looking into, branching out their skills or their development, siguro it's also good to check out what we can do in terms of quality management for our company. Ayan. And that's all for us this week. Hope to see you next time in the Trainers Lounge, the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. Presented by Circologica Group and CLDP Philippines. So good night for now. See you next time.